Tonight will be a good one. Tonight will be a special one because we are going to be getting in a $500 big dog draft. I already entered this bad boy. There are 9 spots open right now. So while we wait for this to fill, we are going to instead get our warm-ups in. We are going to get our practice reps in. The $4 Chihuahua. This is what I'd recommend you spend your time in if you are new to Underdog Fantasy. This is a $4 buy-in. $30K for first, flatter payout structure than you normally see. Let's get in here and then we can go through and look at all of the details. But yeah, this is hopefully not going to be what we do the entire stream. Hopefully we get that $500 draft to fill. I sent out a tweet telling everybody, hey, we're going to be streaming one of these if you want in. So I'm sure that there'll be some psychos on Twitter that want to get in that $500 draft. But anyway, here, $4 buy-in, $250K prize pool, $30K for first, $20K for second, $10,000 for third, $9,000 for fourth, $8,000 for fifth, $7,000 for sixth, $6,000 for seventh, $5,000 for eighth, $4,000 for ninth, $3,000 for 10th, all the way down the line. You get the idea. But here, how you get to those crazy prizes is you're going to be going up against 11 other people in your draft and in weeks 1 through 14 against the people you drafted with. If you're one of the top 2 highest scoring teams, you advance to week 15, where you'll go up against 8 other people. If you're the highest scoring team, you'll advance to week 16, where you'll go up against 5 other people. And if you're the highest scoring team, you'll advance to week 17, where you'll have to go up against 216 people. And if you're the highest scoring team there, then congrats. Your $4 entry turns into $30,000. But Jamar Chase off the board at 1. And I personally am going to just take the running back here over Jefferson. I used to take Jefferson at 2 comfortably, but now I think that if you're looking at the wide receivers available at the 4 or 5 turn, I'm more comfortable taking Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley here than we were earlier in the offseason. But laceless shoes in this draft with us at 6. Happy to have you. And Utah Sports already maxed out his $4 Chihuahua drafts. This tournament's been open for like a day, my guy. Let's see. Anthony asking us how many drafts we've done. He says he's already done 45. I've done slightly over 200, my friend. So we've done a lot. John Stepp says, I did my first and only $500 draft with Liam a month ago. Was so nervous that I auto-drafted an unstacked quarterback. Going to sit this one out. That's pretty funny. But there are 9 spots left in the $500 draft if you want in. But thank you, everybody, for coming to this stream. Antonio, thank you for getting in this draft with us at 5. And this should be a good one. And now there are only 8 spots in that $500 draft. So it looks like it is slowly filling. I'd imagine Vinny just took that 4th spot. But so we have CMC off the board at 8, Puka, Nico. Definitely have noticed Nico Collins rising in these, and I've realized that I clearly did not get myself enough water in this cup. But Vinny says, indeed. I figured it was you, my friend. NYR Central says, Yo, Mason, are we back live in New York? Been a minute. I've only been in New York twice in my life. Both were within the last 12 months. And I know we probably got a lot of people watching this from New York. There are a lot of people in New York, but I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not a New York person. I could not do that life. It was nice to visit, but yeah, I could not live there. But let's see. And, are you asking if Underdog drafts are in New York? Yes, Underdog drafts are in New York. Here's the updated map on where Underdog drafts currently are. So New York is on that map, my friend. But let me take this back. Brother says, I love going Jinty and Achane at the 1-2 turn when I can get it. You should be able to get it quite often. Like the team there at 12, that team at 12 decides to go with Rashee Rice at 13, Achane and Rashee Rice as your first 2 picks. Okay. I will be underweight Rashee Rice. I'm just letting you know that right now. I will be underweight Rashee Rice if he is going ahead of Amon-Ra St. Brown, Ashton Jinty, blah, blah, blah. Now, obviously, the team at 12 may be going for a unique pairing. That team at 12 may go, well, you know what? Rashee Rice in this tournament only is going to get drafted at the 2-3 turn. He's never going to get selected with Achane, so if I can take him here, blah, 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 blah. Maybe that's the thought process. But to see that happen, and A.J. Brown down to 21. Dear God, A.J. Brown makes it down to the Saquon Barkley team. I know we said this in the live stream a couple days ago, but yeah, these $4 drafts are wild. We take Jonathan Taylor here. We are not going to go with 3 running backs out the gate. We will reach on Jackson, Smith, and Jigba because we do need to play catch up on wide receiver. But big thing is with these underdog drafts, they're a little bit different than your regular redraft league. Of course, you're not submitting your starting lineup at the end of every single week. That's automatically done for you. No waiver wire, no trades. So like in your regular redraft league, maybe you go Bijan, Taylor, Jacobs, and just say, I'm going to hammer these fools at running back. But here, if you get boxed out a wide receiver, you can't play the waiver wire. You can't make a trade. You just have to go through and you have to get your wide receivers in the draft. So I don't want to fall behind underdogs to start 3 wide receiver league as well. So we're just going to play it safe. We are just going to get our receivers. And of course, if y'all wanted to get into one of these underdog drafts with us, we're doing these every single night in the stream. For the love of God, don't go and get in a $500 draft if you're new to underdog. I'm definitely sticking the $4 drafts, the one that we're doing right now. But you can find the link to Underdog Fantasy if you did want to draft with us in the description, comment section, live chat. I pretty much put it everywhere. It's the link that says draft with us here. And if you do use code FLOCK, you'll get all my 2025 fantasy football rankings and draft guide cheat sheets. Plus, you'll actually get a 50% deposit bonus up to $1,000. You do need to be in one of these states if you wanted to draft on Underdog. However, here is the map if you wanted to check that out, see if you actually can get in an Underdog draft. And if you are in one of those states and you want to hop in a draft with us or just hop in a draft whenever, prep for your main redraft league, you can scan the QR code on the screen here as well. But Jay Fresh says, A.J. Brown went pick 24 in a draft he was in earlier. That is wild. That is crazy. Henry asking if there's 7 left in the big dog. Let me see how many spots are open in that. There are 7 left. We need 7 more people in that big dog draft. If anybody wants in, I'll pull it over on the other side. Okay. Jaden Daniels goes 39 to pair up with Terry McLaurin at 34. Josh Allen, Lamar, both going round 3. Trey McBride continues to slide a bit. So we are still playing catch up at the wide receiver position, right? So our ideal turn here is going to be to go wide receiver. And Kittle does go off the board at pick 37. So you have been seeing the meteoric rise for George Kittle. Devonta Smith goes to Lord Snow. That's the team that has Saquon Barkley and A.J. Brown. So they are setting themselves with just a full-blown onslaught for, God dang. We're going to go Sutton. I think Sutton's kind of one of the last wide receivers in this tier for me, and we need a wide receiver no matter what. James Cook and Amari and Hampton both go. So here's where we get to an interesting spot, and I'm going to do it. I know people are going to get upset. And I know people in the live chat yesterday went, Mason, you've gone on long rant saying that you never want to take a player just to block another person in your draft. You don't want to make your team 1% worse to try to negatively impact somebody else in a tournament because you should only focus in on your team, yada, yada, yada. I stand by all of that. I think that is 100% true. And I'm not taking Jalen Hurts here to block the team at 4. Lord Jon Snow, who's in these live streams a lot, like the dude. I want him to make the best team possible. But again, my number one priority is my own team. And I personally think for my own team, the best play here is Jalen Hurts. Yes, an unstacked Jalen Hurts, but also at the same time, Jalen Hurts does have a crazy high rushing ceiling. Like, we can go ahead and pull this up on the site. And I know I've showed this over and over again, and I'm going to continue to show it over and over again. But let's pull this up. Let's look at the elite QBs here, ladies and gentlemen. So Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Jalen Hurts. And of course, we look this past year. It's like, oh, Lamar, 25 points per game. Jalen Hurts, 21. Josh Allen, 22 points per game. Jalen Hurts, 21. Blah, blah, blah. I want to take a step back. I want to look at a larger sample. Let's look at the past 3 years for these quarterbacks. And over the past 3 years, Jalen Hurts, Lamar Jackson, identical points per game. Josh Allen, like 1 point per game more. You have almost a rushing touchdown per game and 42 rushing yards per game for Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts, just based off his rushing statistics, is averaging 10 fantasy points per game. So I personally believe I can get a Jalen Hurts spike without a stack. I think we can still go for Dallas Goedert later on. I'm not taking Jalen Hurts here to block another team. I'm taking Jalen Hurts because I think he's the best pick on the board. Okay. Yes. Yes, I agree. It says Hurts and Allen closer than I would have thought. Wow. Yeah, I mean, the math does not lie. And that's a 3-year sample where I don't think the pass catchers are any worse for Jalen Hurts this year than they have been. Obviously, last year, Jalen Hurts did not throw the ball a ton because you're just boat racing every team that you go up against. Trav Snow says, no hurt feelings, unstacked Hurts 5th round. It's just common sense. Yeah, I'm sorry, my guy. I appreciate you, but I know I did this yesterday, and one of the comments on the live stream was like, oh, blah, blah, blah. You did that just to block Vinny. I'm like, I did not do that to block somebody else. I did that because I like the pick. Okay, Quinshon Judkins goes 66. Good for us because I'm sitting with JSN and Cortland Sutton as my 2 receivers. So our number 1 priority by country mile here at pick 71 is going to be wide receiver. Okay. Caleb Johnson goes 62. Good for us. Jordan Addison goes 69. Trav Snow gets us back for our Jalen Hurts selection. Jordan Addison at 71 would have been so exciting. I would have done a backflip. We're just going to take Jacoby Myers here at 71. Jacoby Myers is about the most boring pick that you could ever make, but we have had just the consistent volume from him. And then we're going to take Ricky Pearsall here as well. I'm not a big Deebo Samuel guy in general. We are underweight Deebo, and I'm going to continue to try to be underweight Deebo Samuel. So let's move this over. Vinny says Mason hates me. Verified, my friend. Let's see. Bean says, thoughts on Najee this year? You don't have much of him. Wondering what you're thinking. I'll pull up. Do I not have much Najee Harris? I think Amari and Hampton is hashtag that dude. I think Amari and Hampton's going to crush. My goal is to be overweight Hampton. Now, with that being said, I don't know if we're even accomplishing that. Let me see. I actually am overweight Najee Harris. I have Najee in 11.6% of my drafts. So do I even have Hampton that much? I have Hampton in 10.3%. So I'm slightly overweight Hampton. I'm slightly overweight Najee. I think it's going to be a good team. I think they're going to run the ball a lot. And I don't really think you have to worry about another running back in that backfield. Okay. Now, don't get it twisted. Amari and Hampton is significantly better. Fabian says, when are the redraft guides expected to be good to go? I was planning on getting the redraft guides out to everybody late July. If y'all are telling me that your redraft league drafts are before that, I could definitely speed run that for y'all and get y'all out a version a little bit quicker. But please let me know in the live chats, when is your main redraft league's draft? Or if you're doing multiple, when are your drafts? Because if any of y'all have them in July, maybe we can push up the date of getting out the draft guide cheat sheets for y'all. And I think we said this in the past, but the draft guide this year is not going to be how it was in years past. Y'all know in years past, it was a write-up on every single player. It was like a 200-page PDF. Here, we're going to have like 20 different guides or 20 different draft guide cheat sheets. And it's literally a sheet for you to take exactly to your draft, whether it's on the computer, whether you're printing it out and going to a physical place. But this year it's going to be, hey, you're playing on Sleeper. You're playing in a 10-team league. You're playing a league where you start 2 wide receivers, 1 flex. This is your sheet. Or, hey, you're playing on ESPN. You're playing in a 12-team league. You start 3 wide receivers and 1 flex. This is your sheet. So it's going to be a little bit different. And I think it's going to be a lot more useful for you. It's going to be a lot harder for me, but let's see. Patrick Mahomes goes 93. Let's move this back. Let's see what Kelsey does. Goes Pittman. Pittman was our ideal play. We will go Cooper Kupp at 95. Just continue to play catch up here at receiver. And then we can go back to the quarterback position and take Bo Nix if Jaden Higgins goes, which Jaden Higgins, Keon Coleman both go. And I think we take Bo Nix, pair him up with Cortland Sutton, and then call it a day at quarterback. So let's move this over. And let me see when y'all's drafts are, because if y'all have any drafts in July, I'll definitely push that up for you. But let's see, we got Labor Day, late August, late August, August, late August, 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 late August, end of August, last week of August, first week of September, late August, late August, late August, late. Yeah, see, this is why I was planning on getting out late July, and then we're going to have just constant updates to it, obviously, every single week. So like if you used code FLOCK on Underdog like last month and made that $10 deposit, don't worry. Every week that it's updated, you're going to get sent the newest version. And it'll just go to the email address you signed up to Underdog Fantasy with. And then obviously, if you're a member of flockfantasy.com, I'm just going to keep updating the post that'll be on the site. So if you're a member of the site, you'll get it on the site. If you are if you use code FLOCK on Underdog, it'll hit your email every week. And I hope that explains that. And then full transparency, like whenever I post it on the site, it's not going to be like the tools that we put out on the site, like the player comparison tool. This is free for y'all to check out on flockfantasy.com. We're going to have a bunch of free stuff, but those draft guide cheat sheets, that will only be for paid members. Will only be for mother flockers of the site. And there are still 7 spots open in that $500 draft if anybody wanted to hop in. So Benjamin says, you have JSN and Cup. Why not draft Darnold? I think you could, but at the same time, what's the 1v1 there? Like, we take Trey Harris instead of Bo Nix. And let's go ahead and let's look at the wide receiver that's going to be next to Darnold. Would I rather have like Demario Douglas and Bo Nix, or would I rather have Trey Harris and Sam Darnold? I'd probably rather have Demario Douglas and Bo Nix personally. Okay. Marvin Mims off 113. If Purdy makes it to us at 119, the decision to take Bo Nix will have been officially bad. Because obviously we have Ricky Pearsall. And if Purdy makes it to 119, or I don't even want to say the Bo Nix decision was bad. In that case, the Jalen Hurts decision's bad. And it looks like we're trending that direction, ladies and gentlemen. Jared Goff goes. So I am sorry for everybody rooting for us. We made a massive blunder. Clearly, the play should have been to get freaking Brock Purdy to pick 120. But sadly, we did not know that we were going to have that opportunity. I will take David Njoku. I think David Njoku probably outscores Christian Kirk, probably outscores Kyle Williams. For sure, wide receivers probably our weakest spot at this point in terms of value over replacement. But now running back, we have Bijan Taylor, Zach Charbonnet. Wide receiver, we have JSN, Cortland Sutton, Jacoby Myers, Ricky Pearsall, Cooper Kupp. Quarterback, we have an unstacked Hurts. We have Bo Nix paired with Sutton. And then we have David Njoku holding the fort down at tight ends. And we are about to see Purdy going after Tua. Tua off the board at 125 to the team that has Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle. Who passed on Purdy? The thing with the Purdy fall like this is the Ricky Pearsall team has to pass on him. The CMC team has to pass. The Jawan Jennings team has to pass. The Brandon Ayuk team has to pass. Like this, am I losing my mind? This team here at 8 has Brandon Ayuk, and they've decided to take both Marvin Mims and Kyle Williams over Brock Purdy. the Jawan Jennings team, I guess they had Lamar. So they decided to go Bateman in the last round, and they end up getting Brock Purdy at pick 131. Wild. Like, I would have been, at this point, at like 128, I would have taken an unstacked Brock Purdy, let alone you have Brandon Ayuk. Lisa's Shoe says they have CMC as well. Yeah, why is that? I know that team has Allen, but still, you're going to have to take another quarterback no matter what. How much better is Kyle Williams than whatever wide receiver you'd get late on the 2v2 of Purdy and a bum wide receiver, or Kyle Williams and a bum quarterback? Kyle Williams is kind of a bum wide receiver, to be honest. Okay. Let's see. Rashad White goes 135. Yeah, this Ninja Gaming team gets Brock Purdy to pair up with Jawan Jennings, which that team should just be ecstatic. This team at 11. Genty, Brian Robinson, Ray Davis at running back. Quarterback, they have Lamar, Brock Purdy. Wide receiver, Brian Thomas, Tet, Rome, Jennings, Mooney, Bateman. Tight end, Andrews. Very, very interesting team. The big Q off the board. Sad day to be Flock Fantasy, I'll tell you that much. Okay. Lord Jon Snow, we're going to assume they're not the threat. They go Garendo. Ferguson goes, thank God we get Dallas Goedert to pair up with Jalen Hurts. It was for sure plan A, and we are not going to hesitate to just go ahead and roll with it. And then we are going to take, do we go Cedric Tillman? Probably, right? Yeah, let's just think for it for 1 second. We're going to go Tillman. Interestingly enough, we have a bunch of quarterbacks falling in this draft. Here we have Lawrence, ADP 133, still available at 148. Same thing, CJ Stroud, ADP 134, still available at 148. Crazy. Demonic Celery says, assuming the $500 doesn't fill, what's up next? We are going to just keep on ripping these $4 Chihuahua drafts until that $500 draft fills. And that $500 draft now has 6 spots open. So it's slowly but surely filling. Okay. Trevor Lawrence goes 151. God. Yeah, I need to be on record. If we knew the quarterbacks were going to fall like this, the very clear play would be you don't take Jalen Hurts where we did. Instead, you go ahead and you take your favorite wide receiver there instead. Demonic Celery says, did you fill the Dachshund? I think that we said that right. Somebody told me it was like Josh Dotson. So I don't think we filled it. I think there are 1 or 2 spots. 1 or 2 drafts we have left. It just seems like that the Chihuahua's been open for like a day or two. It has a 25 entry max. However, people are still going crazy with it to the point where like in 2 days, there have been 54,000 teams drafted. So like I need to be getting my teams in relatively soon. The Dachshund, we have 2 teams left that we can draft, but it looks like it's not filling as fast. I'm sure that starts filling quickly once the Chihuahua's full, but might as well rip the Chihuahua drafts while we can. Okay. Jalen McMillan, Romeo Dobbs, both off. Hunter Henry goes, Geno off as well. Let's pull this back. And we're still definitely going to take a third tight end here. Like, I really like our tight ends, having David Njoku, Dallas Goedert. But at the end of the day, their cost was pick 122 and 148. Or I'm sorry, 122 and 143. So relatively muted price. Again, I think if you just look at the projections, you're going to see that a lot of the tight ends later are going to straight up outscore the wide receivers. We are actually looking at Braylon Allen here. We'll take Pat Bryant. Y'all know I'm not the biggest Pat Bryant guy, but if we're ever going to take him, it probably makes sense to do so on a Bo Nix team where we kind of need another receiver. So we'll do it. Roshan off the board. Gesicki goes as well. Let's think. We got 15, 16, 17, 18. We need 2 more running backs, a tight end. And for that reason, we can take another receiver. Who do we prefer here? I kind of like Wandale in this range, to be honest. So we'll go Wandale as our 8th option. So wide receiver, it's a turd sandwich. Now, lucky for us, we have a lot of turds stuffed into this sandwich. So the sandwich is big enough, you'd assume in best ball, that maybe every once in a while, one of these turds does something. We have JSN, Cortland Sutton, Jacoby Myers, our wide receiver 3. Ricky Pearsall, wide receiver 4. Cooper Kupp, wide receiver 5. Cedric Tillman, wide receiver 6. Pat Bryant, wide receiver 7. And then Wandale Robinson, wide receiver 8. Quarterback, we have Jalen Hurts stacked up with Dallas Goedert. We have Bo Nix double stacked with Cortland Sutton and Pat Bryant. And then running back, we have Bijan, Jonathan Taylor, Zach Charbonnet. We're going to take 2 more running backs and 1 more tight end on this team. But Frank coming in, donating 5 memberships. I didn't even know you could do that. Thank you, my friend. That was definitely the first time anybody's donated a membership on the channel. So appreciate you. And it looks like Laceless Shoes gets a membership. Who else got one? King Rubes got a membership as well. CJ Hill, Amon K, Brady Dusky. So thank you, Frank. Appreciate it, my friend. And yeah, apparently YouTube has XP. So we can see who the top fans are, which I don't know how they determine this. Purple Turple says, why don't you play Weekly Winners? So if y'all don't know, Weekly Winners is a tournament on Underdog that every week is a brand new slate. So if you are the highest scoring team in the tournament in week 8, even though you drafted just an absolute garbage team, I think in the past, I don't know what it is this year, you'd win like $20,000 off a $10 buy-in. The main reason why I do not draft Weekly Winners teams is I know I would be ungodly bad at it. Horrible. The worst of the worst. Clueless. You could hire a monkey to click buttons and it probably would have a better shot at taking down the tournament than I would. So I don't stream those drafts just because anything that I'd be putting out there, I think would be doing more harm than good, to be completely honest with you. However, this is the first year that I have actually been drafting some weekly winner drafts off the live stream in slow drafts. Now, if you're in any of those slow drafts with me, you can probably tell the people in the chat exactly how bad my teams probably are. But I've been mixing in some weekly winners slow drafts. If they turn out to be not horrible, then maybe we start streaming them next year. But I'm just taking a lot of Justice Hill here in general. I think Justice Hill fits his team perfectly for what we need. So Hunter off. I think we probably just go Marshawn Lloyd. There are a bunch of tight ends that we can get in round 18. And then we are just going to queue up some tight ends. We're going to hop in another $4 draft. There's still 6 spots open in that $500 big dog if anybody wants to hop in. Y'all know I like me some Terrence Ferguson. Mix in a Ben Simmons. Mix in a Noah Fant. Mix in a Gadsden. Mix in a Noah Gray. But hopefully we just get Terrence Ferguson. I'll show off this squad one more time. I don't think it's the worst team ever. Is it the best team ever? No. We saw the biggest fallers in this draft be those quarterback twos, those guys like Brock Purdy, Trevor Lawrence, CJ Stroud. Based on us going with Jalen Hurts as well as Bo Nix, we boxed ourselves out of quarterback. We weren't able to take advantage of those massive fallers. So A little disappointing. But let me go over and let me hop in another Chihuahua. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, dear God. Why? It's always the second draft on the stream. I guess maybe if I open Safari for long enough, Safari, for whatever reason, decides to block my location. And again, I know we've said this multiple times now, but we just entered now. So hopefully y'all are in with us. But if you don't know, you have to be in one of these states to draft a team on Underdog. So if you have like a VPN running or anything like that, and Underdog can't determine your exact location, they'll block you from getting in a draft because they need to know your location if you are going to be able to get in. So we had to share ours, and here we are. We are in this draft now. And I think we get a good pick. Never mind. We get pick 4. And it's even worse because you look at the names that we're having to draft next to. We have to draft next to Vinny in at 6. And we have to draft next to Desire Best in at 5. Let me know who else made it in. But ETN says it does the same thing when I try to log in at work. That's probably your work blocking you, my friend. I'm sorry if we juked anybody. I am sorry. But Hunter in this draft with us at 11. And Michael, welcome to being a member of the flock, my friend. Appreciate you hanging out with us for years now. Okay, let's see what Big Sweezy does. Because the picks 2 through 5 have really been in flux lately. Like, we've seen Barkley falling a lot. Jefferson and Bijan both go. I'll take Barkley. Can somebody please let me know in the live chat? Has there been like a central person that's been like throwing a bunch of crap on Saquon Barkley? Like, has a fantasy footballer or something been coming out saying that Saquon Barkley is a bum this year and nobody should draft Saquon Barkley? Like, what the hell is up with Barkley? Somebody just tweeted at me that they got Barkley at pick 7 in an Underdog draft. Everybody is just saying it's the Madden curse. Okay. Ross Kretz is pretty sure I watch Fantasy Pros talk crap about Barkley. Okay, it's literally everybody saying that they are worried about Barkley on the Madden cover. Let me pull this up. Realistically, Madden cover by year. How often does this go bad? Okay, 2025, it was CMC. Tough scene. 2024, it was Allen. Not bad. Mahomes and Tom Brady in 2022, not bad. Lamar in 2021, what happened to Lamar in 2022? Antonio Brown in 2019. Let me pull this up. Do we have Antonio Brown in the player comparison? Let's see. No, we do not have Antonio Brown. That's something we need to be able to put in there. Okay, Tyreek goes 19. Josh, the Saquon did have a lot of long touchdown runs. Saquon also had a lot of these long runs that he got stopped at the 1. We're going to take Rashee Rice here. Again, you see some people go with the crazy price tag with Rice. This is the earliest I'm willing to take him. Higgins goes 22. And there should be some running backs if we really want a running back available to us in the 3rd. Yeah, so I know that Barkley had 1,000 touches last season for sure. Ross Kretz says, people talking about regression for him and Eagles passing more. There are a lot of channels that have been repeating that talking. But I know we have hyped the Eagles in terms of the passing volume going up in favor of drafting Devonta Smith specifically. But please, if you have not done so already, go down there, hit that like button. I'd really appreciate it. And of course, if you're not able to make every single one of these streams because you don't know when we go live, easiest way for you to know is if you hit the subscribe button the bell next to the subscribe button. I'm sure you're already subscribed. Now, don't hit the bell if you don't want YouTube alerting you, because YouTube will alert you if you hit the bell. I'm ready to take Bucky Irving at 28. It's going to be a rare opportunity to get Bucky this late. And one thing that you can do is with this player comparison, we can actually break down the seasons that we had from Bucky versus Rachaad White's, because obviously it's a big difference that you have from Bucky Irving versus Rachaad White in the first half of the year and the second half of the year. Like, looking at the counting stats of these running backs next to each other, it's not that far off. Like, running back 19 for Bucky Irving last season, running back 23 for Rachaad White. But if we break this down, weeks 1 through 9 for Bucky, weeks 1 through 9 for Rachaad White, like, Bucky Irving in the first 9 weeks only played 41% of the snaps, averages 10.9 fantasy points per game. Rachaad White played 63% of the snaps during this time period, 13.8. But Rachaad White was very inefficient. Actually, let's keep looking at it this way so we can just look at the efficiency with these backs. Here, yards per carry, 4.98 for Bucky, 4.24 for Rachaad White's. Total yards, despite Bucky having just overall way fewer targets, 2.8 in comparison to Rachaad White, 4.25. Fewer rushing, about slightly more rushing attempts, surprisingly. He had more rushing yards. Let me see what we had weeks 10 through 18 for these backs. Weeks 10 through 18, the second half of the year. Snap share is still almost identical for them, but Bucky Irving jumps up to 18.3 fantasy points per game in comparison to Rachaad White at 11.7. So if we continue to expect that Bucky expands his role going into this next season like we saw at the end of last year, I think Bucky has a lot of upside to continue to run. We got Teresa stopping by the chat. Happy to have you, of course. Trent says Bucky only got 53% of the snaps all year. But yeah, like we just showed, if you're looking at the split before and after week 10, Bucky expanded his role dramatically. Like, all season for full 2024, Bucky only had 45% of the snaps. You know, it'd be fun to look at. Devonta Smith goes 43. I'd have been excited to get Smith at 45. We will go with Xavier Worthy. We are going to just say, what if Mahomes can get back to 300 plus passing touchdowns per game? Y'all want to take a guess of Devon Achane snap rate his rookie season in comparison to Bucky Irving? Bucky Irving had 45% of the snaps as a rookie that we just saw. Y'all want to take a guess what Achane had as a rookie? Okay, Sutton goes. King Rube says 68%. We got 30, 40, 38, 41, 60. Here we have Achane 44%, Bucky 45%. And we do not, like, whenever you're looking at any of these statistics on flockfantasy.com, we specifically take out any games where they did not play. Like, we're not just looking at their offensive snaps divided by the offensive snaps of the overall team. We are taking their average snap rate for the games that they actually played in. I think Travis Hunter continues to fall. I think we're actually going to take Ridley. We'll go with Calvin Ridley. Maybe you can make an argument. Mason used the bye week as a tiebreaker. You have Rice Worthy already with the week 10 bye. Don't take Calvin Ridley with the same bye week. Maybe you mix in Travis Hunter. Maybe you mix in Zay Flowers. If this was like BBM, where we are truly trying to navigate just a massive field, where also a large section of that field was drafting Travis Hunter at the beginning of the 4th round. There, I think we use the tiebreaker and we take Travis Hunter at pick 52. But this is a tournament that just started on Underdog a couple days back. Like, every draft that's made is going to be within this kind of same ADP range. So we're going to be going up against a lot of other teams that got Travis Hunter in round 5, right? So we can't really make an argument for it for that reason. And in general, while it's still an absolute massive field, it's not going to be the same size of Best Ball Mania, where we are just having to go and shoot for the top 0.001 percentile outcome. Okay. And there are still 6 spots open in that $500 draft, so I really hope we can fill it. We tweeted it out. What else can I do? Title the live stream it. And full transparency, if that $500 draft does not fill tonight, what I will do is I'm going to leave that draft. The last thing that I want is a $500 draft starting whenever I go to sleep. So I will, of course, let y'all know if I leave it. I will, of course, make that very public, but okay. Henry says, Mason, my boy, Venmo me 500 real quick, and I'll fill one of those spots in the draft for you. All right. Quickly, I'm thinking of a number in my head. Type it in the chat. If it's the same number, I'll Venmo you that 500. Okay. Joe Mixon makes it down to 67. Godwin's not going to be in play. I'm sorry. Godwin will be in play for us. Burrow's not going to be in play for us. Yeah, we'll take Godwin. We're still kind of playing catch-up wide receiver, going Barkley, Bucky at the start of this draft. So now we have Rice, Worthy, Ridley, and Godwin. Okay, I see a bunch of other people spamming the chat. Sadly, this was only an offer for Henry. Henry has 117. Oh, man. You were so close. So close. Believe it or not, the number was 116.9. But valiant effort. Great try. I'm proud of you. Hell of a talent. Hell of a skill. I would for sure go into your next interview letting them know that you are a master number guesser. And honestly, if we had a position open at Flock Fantasy for somebody that has that kind of skill set, the job would be yours, my friend. Okay. We're going to take Quinshon Judkins. Super easy pick. Only hesitation is we have a team with 2 bye weeks. We have Barkley, Bucky, Godwin, Judkins all on the week 9 bye. We have Rice, Worthy, Calvin Ridley all in the week 10 bye. Now, if this was the eliminator, your boy's screwed. We fumbled the bag. It's a tough scene. However, this isn't the eliminator. This is a tournament structure contest where all the money's up for grabs in weeks 15, 16, 17. So my number one priority is going to be structuring our team for those 3 weeks. And of course, going into the future, I probably avoid players with a week 9, week 10 bye outside of our stacking options, such as a Baker with Godwin, such as Mahomes with Worthy and Rice. But let's see. This, okay, I gotta pull this up, and y'all can try to decipher this with me. I'm sorry. John says, my dad used to say it's hotter than a 2-peckered goat. Hot, but not that hot. I don't even know what this means, my friend. I mean, I clearly am smart enough to know, like, what a 2-peckered goat is. But the part I'm dealing with, the part I'm trying to figure out is, what does it mean, hot, but not that hot? What is the second structure of this sentence? Yeah, I need some help with that one. We got the Ladster stopping by. Says getting the highest scoring player for 2025 fifth overall is sweet. I specifically thought about this, Danny. For the Flock League, I really hope I'm right before you. I really hope I get CeeDee Lamb, and I really hope I'm able to milk you for everything you got. We are going to go ahead. We're going to take Patrick Mahomes. It's an auto pick for us. We have Rice. We have Worthy. He falls past his ADP. I think Mahomes has it in the range of outcomes to absolutely crush a tournament. We can go ahead and we can pull this up. Patrick Mahomes, yes, over the past 2 years, has been disappointing. Not going to lie about it. 2023, 2024, over the past 2 years, he's been on average a QB 12. 17.6 fantasy points per game. But y'all want to see what he did in 2022, 2021, 2020, 2019, 2018. A 5-year sample we have from Mahomes of him averaging 23.5 fantasy points per game. Of him going over 300 passing yards per game. This is in the range of outcomes for Mahomes. We haven't seen it for 2 years. I know we all collectively have the memory and the attention span of 3 goldfish put together plus a 2-peckered goat. But if we can try to remember, if we can try to look back, if we can try to optimize for the highest ceiling possible, you do have a crazy high ceiling with Mahomes here. And our next pick, Bo next, we try to get Ingram on the way back. That ain't happening. We'll just be boring. We'll take Mason. At this point, we just kind of need players that are not on that week 9 or week 10 bye. But let's move this over. And yes, now running back, we have Barkley, Bucky, Judkins, Jordan Mason. Wide receiver, we have Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, Calvin Ridley, Chris Godwin. And then quarterback, we have Patrick Mahomes. Really, the only other quarterback that we're set up to potentially take at this point is going to be Cam Ward. Okay. Let's move this over. Michael says, you're looking at ancient history. Based on recent history, Mahomes is no longer a strong fantasy asset. Well, Michael, my friend, based off your profile picture, I am unsure if you were alive when Mahomes was an elite fantasy asset. Now, obviously, you can tell that you're talking to a grown ass. Okay, I'm going to stop joking. Somebody's going to take me seriously. All right, let's move this over. Okay. Jared Goff, Caleb Williams off the board here, 107, 108. I don't know what we are looking for. I mean, one thing that we don't particularly need is going to be another running back, right? Where, I mean, we are sitting just with an extremely strong running back room. But outside of that, we still need quarterbacks, still need receivers. Obviously, we need tight ends. We can only take one more running back. Okay, Spicy Out says, yo, I hope you're... anyone in your Austin area is doing well with the crazy floods happening this past weekend. Yes, I did not know anybody affected, but hopefully everybody's good that's watching this, or everybody knows good, because it was crazy, the rain we got here, which obviously very sad news with the floods and the areas affected. But in general, Central Texas needed rain horribly bad. Okay. Trey Harris off 114. Bo Nix goes 115. Vinny saves us from having to freaking take. And he took Evan Ingram. Okay, so yeah, that's a great pull from Vinny. Vinny is a great team. See what Desire Best does. Does he go Dak with Lamb, I'd assume? Yeah, he does. So we'll take Shaheed. Like I said, we only need one more running back. Shaheed doesn't give us another quarterback option, but he does at least give us a wide receiver that's not on the week 10 bye. Okay, Cam Scadaboo off 119. Cam Scadaboo is so much of a better price than he used to be. I think y'all probably know who I want. David Njoku goes. You have to get out of here. You're being bad. Okay, Hollywood goes 121. Hollywood was not particular who he wanted. Who I wanted was David Njoku at 120. So I'm not going to fault anybody for taking David Njoku there. I think he is the best pick on the board at that point. McCarthy, obviously, we have Jordan Mason, but I don't necessarily know if that's a strong enough justification to take him here. Probably not going to go with McCarthy. If we wanted to go Jordan Love, we're not going to get Kraft on the way back. We can get Romeo Dobbs. Javonte doesn't. We're not taking a week 10 bye here. I think we may go Tucker Kraft. We go Herbert and take the big Q later. We're going to take Tucker Kraft. If I was not drafting with y'all, I would draft Justin Herbert with the expectations to get Quentin Johnson on the way back. But because I am drafting with y'all, I would assume that my ability to take Quentin Johnson 10 picks ahead of ADP is not there. Y'all are probably going to take him 20 picks ahead. So we'll take Tucker Kraft. I think Tucker Kraft's a fine pull. And in general, seeing a lot of these wide receivers fall down boards and the tight ends rise in this range may make drafts tougher. May get to a point where you actually have to consider taking some receivers in this round. We're not there just yet, but you do kind of see things trending that way. Henry asking if there are 4 or 5 teams left in the big dog. There are only 4 spots left in the big dog. So it looks like this thing may actually fill. So if you wanted to get in, hop in. 4 spots open. Blim says, does your Gray Pyrenees knock on doors? Mine is obnoxious, winning once in or out. Oh, 100%. That is hilarious. Mine just goes there and once in or out, just hits, scrapes down. Hits, scrapes down. Just hilarious. Dustin, thank you for coming by a live stream, my friend. Michael says, what happens if the big dog doesn't fill until midnight, after midnight in your sleep? So with underdog drafts, just to make sure everybody knows, it is super easy to enter a draft and leave a draft as long as it hasn't filled. So like if you ever get in a draft and you're like, oh, I need 11 other people, that's going to take too long to fill. You can go through and hit leave draft and like whatever that entry fee was, just immediately gets added back to your account. So like say that $500 draft doesn't fill by the end of this live stream. I will leave and that $500 drafts will get added back in my account that second. So yeah, I'm not sitting in that $500 lobby and going to bed. I'll tell you that much. Desire Best doesn't have any Packers. Do we get Love to pair up with Kraft? Let's see. He's making us... Oh, he's taking it down to the last second. What is he doing? God, of course. Of course. And we could have just freaking taken Justin Herbert and gotten Quentin Johnson on the way back. If I could get in a time machine, clearly the decision we should have made, the option we should have gone with, is we should have taken Justin Herbert in round 11. Now, could have, would have, should have. But I'm having some buyer's regret of Tucker Kraft at this point. Okay, there are 3 spots open in that $500 draft. This thing is getting filled. CJ Stroud goes. Leggett, Tua off. This team here right before us has yet to take a quarterback, and both Stroud and Tua just went off the board. Will be interesting to monitor what they end up doing. Trey Benson, and they go Benson. Yeah, they have 6 running backs with Bijan, James Cook, Jalen Ward. Yeah, they're lost. We're going to take Stafford. We're going to get the raw Stafford points. And I do really like Terrence Ferguson, and we'll make Terrence Ferguson one of our late picks. Clearly, Stafford has no rushing upside. Clearly, Stafford's not a quarterback that you want to have unstacked. Clearly, we should have taken Justin Herbert in round 11 instead of Tucker Kraft, or Desire Best should have let us have Jordan Love at 141. If we would have got Jordan Love at 141, this would have been a picture-perfect draft. But instead, we are going to be going into a $500 draft tilted. And the thing is, like, I have a hard time with this, full transparency, but like, to truly understand like the scale of like a $4 draft versus a $500 draft for the bankroll, do 125 of these drafts and mess up every single one. But as long as we crush the $500 one, it doesn't matter. Like, this is such a small percentage of our bankroll in comparison to the $500 draft. So, and Desire Best says he had Matthew Golden. Actually, yeah, Desire Best had Matthew Golden 77. Of course, he's going to go Jordan Love. What the hell am I talking about? So I just need to shake this off. We just need to move on. We just need to lock in and make sure this next draft is good. Wandell goes 159. Romeo Dobbs off the board as well. And actually, this draft isn't bad. We still have plays here. Kyle Pitts goes 162. Desire Best has Bowers, so if he does go with the third quarterback, he's going to take Geno. We're going to get Cam Ward to pair up with. We have a good team. Scrap everything I just said. This team's good. Would have been better if we would have gone Herbert, but we're going to take Cam Ward. We're going to pair him up with Ridley. We're going to go, what if we don't need Stafford's production at all in weeks 15 through 17? We just get Mahomes and Cam Ward spike weeks in the final 3 weeks. Cam Ward with Ridley, Mahomes with Rice and Worthy. Stafford to get us to the dance to make sure that we can advance. Did not mean to rhyme, but hell, it is what it is. So we're in a good spot. Who's not in a good spot is the team right after us, who takes their first quarterback off the board with Sam Darnold at 166. Teresa says, I'm going to Florida for a week. Going to draft my first time ever while I'm there. Have fun. I'm actually going to Florida too in like a week from now. I'm going to Florida on Friday. Have fun. Hopefully it'll be a good vacay. Okay. Bulldog LLC says, not sure about Golden, but Jaden Reed's legit. Serious question. Somebody give me the bull case on Jaden Reed. I don't see it from a wide receiver who got worse from year 1 to year 2. And his team significantly invested into. We can go Pat Bryant for the week 17 bring back, which may be relevant considering the fact that this is a massive tournament. We're clearly built around the Chiefs. So we'll take Bryant here. And then round 16, 17, 18, we only have 3 left. We're going to need 1 more running back and 2 more tight ends. Bryce says you're going to the Morgan. Is there a Morgan Wallen concert in Florida? Ooh. If it's near Tampa, I may be going to the Morgan Wallen concert. That is a... Let me pull this up. When is it? Morgan Wallen concert. We went to a Morgan Wallen concert in 2024. Hard Rock Stadium. Where's Hard Rock Stadium? Miami. Tickets are cheap. Who? Could I convince a brother to go down to Miami with me? How far is it to drive from Tampa to Miami? It's only a 4-hour drive. That's not as bad as I thought it would be. Thanks for putting this on my radar. I will have to think about this. Okay. And we see a couple of these running backs go, which is not ideal for us, right? I mean, ideally for us, we see quarterbacks and receivers off the board. There simply aren't any quarterbacks left. Rob says, is there any real difference between QB6 and QB26? It's all luck. They're all decent quarterbacks that can be fantasy relevant. Darnold and Rodgers could be fine streamers. Yes, there is a big, big difference between quarterback 6 and quarterback 26. Let's move this down. Mason Taylor off the board. We are just running back and tight end. Diamond Brown goes 187. Bryce says it's about to be his first ever concert. Have fun. The Morgan Wallen concert we went to last year was amazing. We're going to take Chig at pick 189. Pair him up with Cam Ward. We need a tight end. It's an auto pick for us. Nothing to discuss. Nothing to think about. But 2 spots left in the big dog. Ooh! This is getting... We're ramping for it. Let's go. God. If y'all want in, now's the day. Now's the moment. Now's the time. 2 spots here. Keenan off 191. Jarquez Hunter. I'm going to reach to go get our guy here. 1, I'd like to pair up Matthew Stafford with somebody. 2, more importantly, y'all know I just like Terrence Ferguson. I know I'm drafting with y'all, so my ability to get him on the way back probably will be slim to none. And there's 1 spot left in the $500 draft. This is getting spicy. Let's take Terrence Ferguson, and this may line up perfectly. We may not even have to get... Ooh! It's filled. It's filled. Let's just queue up some running backs. We'll queue up Hunt. We'll queue up Giddens. Really anybody but a week 9 bye. We'll queue up Rashad Smith. We will queue up Mostert. We will queue up. And then let's just queue up a bunch of these randos. Make sure we get our 5th running back. But that's not the most important thing in the world. The most important thing at this point is going to be we just filled the $500 draft. We are in here. And we get pick 10. Oh my gosh. We have to draft next to Vinny. Oh dear God. Oh dear God. Let's pull this up. We have to draft next to Vinny at 11. Matthew at 12. Where is Matthew in this chat? Oh, who else is in here? I don't recognize the team at 1. I don't recognize the team at 2. I definitely recognize Buttnut 69. Well, let me know. Sam is Big Ben at 2. Matthew says, of course I get pick 12. My friend, pick 12 is a great pick this year. I wish I was pick 11 or pick 12. And ooh, yeah, we need to update the little buy-in thing. This is the real deal here. Let's go. Yeah, it is true. At least we box Vinny in. If Vinny was at 10 and I was at 11, life would be a living hell. Or same thing with Matthew. Sam says, not me. Sorry, I was just saying Big Ben at 2. Yeah. Ben Roethlisberger in here, pick 2. RM Cover says 2 is an auto, guys. You're telling me pick number 2 is just going to auto draft this draft. If pick 2 is going to auto draft this draft, that's very good news for us. And we need to make sure that we are tracking what they're taking positionally. Nathaniel Noon says Chris is a big Underdog spender. Well, they got the little Gatorade G on them. I think that's a Gatorade G. I see it in all this. No, it's not a Gatorade G. It's like a conch shell. Conch shell. How do you say that? It's like a little, it's like the seashell you put your ear up to and you hear the ocean. And this team's got the little gladiator thing they're rocking. I think that's a battle royale thing. I think we have that. Should maybe throw it on, but we've had this little avatar for so damn long. Whew. That's going to be exciting. And let's see what we have. Puka goes 7. CMC is already like one of my most invested into players if we get CMC. Like our season will be riding or dying with McCaffrey. Okay, CMC goes 8. I forgot, 30-second clock, so it's going to take a little bit longer. Malik Neighbors goes... We're going to take Nico. Nico's been the big riser. You've actually seen Nico mixing in some drafts, picks 8 and pick 9. Nico's the one player I know for a fact that we're not going to get on the way back around at pick 15. Vinny and Matthew go Achane, St. Brown, Brian Thomas. Obviously, we would have been ecstatic to get either one of those players. And crappity crap. Let's see what Vinny does. He goes AJ Brown. Let's go, ladies and gentlemen. Ashton Genty here at pick 15. Oh, thank God. Oh, thank God. I tweeted this out earlier today. I tweeted out there are 14 first-round picks in fantasy football drafts this year. Let me pull up this little tweet. Oh. Here we go. There are 14 first-round picks in fantasy football this year. Let's count them out together. Chase, Jefferson, Bijan, Barkley, Gibbs, Lamb, Puka, CMC, Neighbors. Nico should be a first-round pick. Achane should be a first-round pick. St. Brown should be a first-round pick. Brian Thomas should be a first-round pick. And Ashton Genty should be as well. So, let's go. And we'll see what makes it back. But some people are saying W Vinny. Some people are saying L Vinny. I will say there are going to be very few Devon Achane, AJ Brown combos in this tournament. Achane's been a round 2 pick all along. Obviously, he's now getting round 1 steam. I think he should have been all along, but it stemmed kind of from the Jonnu trade. Then he goes AJ Brown there at 14 as well. Will be interesting to see if he goes Jalen Hurts at the 3-4 turn. Of course, we're going to do a flock draft this year. I just went through and I reached out to, I cold emailed like 20 places in Austin saying like, hey, can we have the flock meetup here? Blah, blah, blah on August 17th. So no matter what, there will be a flock meetup August 17th, Austin, Texas. Everybody in the flock league will be here. I would love if you can make it. I don't have details for you. I don't know the place that we're at yet. And if you have a cool place in Austin, maybe you have a big house, maybe you have a mansion, maybe you're rich as hell, or you manage a bar, you manage a restaurant, yada, yada, yada. We would love to have the meetup at your place. I'll stay after. I'll pick up. I'll take out the trash. I'll wash the dishes. I'll do what we got to do. But yeah, Fantasyland football coming up. Send meet up at Chili's. No lie, I should have reached out. I have not reached out to Chili's. I'm going to reach out to Chili's and we'll try to get the meet up there. That would be hilarious. I will for sure try to get that done, my guy. Drew says, I manage the local Hooters, by the way. If you're being serious, we are in. Executive decision right here. I'm not even going to ask Fantasyland. If we can upgrade from Chili's to Hooters, we're in. Sign us up. If you're being serious, email me, mason.dodd@flockfantasy.com. I'd be super happy to lock that in. Let's move this over. I know who we want. Let's see if we get him. We got our plan A. We got our plan B. FF links Derrick Henry, Malik Neighbors with their first 2 picks. Okay, Kyron Williams goes. Oh, what do we want? Do we want to go Lamar? Do we want to go Terry? We're going to go. Oh, my gosh. Plan A was. Oh, dear God. Thank Mason. You got. This isn't a 20-second one. You got 30 seconds. We can go Terry and we can get Daniels on the way back. Or we can go Lamar. And if we go Lamar, then on the way back around, we're looking at like Tet, DJ Moore. Terry Jaden's probably the play. We're going to go Terry McLaurin 34. We'll see if we can get Daniels at 39, which I'd assume that we can. Maybe I'm wrong. I'd be very surprised if Matthew or Vinny decided to go Daniels over Lamar. Now, of course, you could see Matthew go Lamar, Vinny go Daniels. Let's see. Matthew goes Lamar. So now, Vinny, we are on Daniels' watch. Which I'm not going to fault anybody for taking an unstacked Daniels because you can go Debo later. You can go Ertz later. You can also just bank on rushing upside, especially a smaller field tournament like this. So I will not sit here and cry if he does go. We could also have the most unique start by going with Breece Hall here at pick 39. Like the combo of Terry and Breece would be very rare. I'm not going to overthink it, though. Our plan A was Daniels. Vinny goes with Jalen Hurts to pair him up with A.J. Brown. I think we follow his lead. I think we go Jaden Daniels to pair him up with Terry McLaurin. So, we'll do it. The alternative would have been, say we went Lamar at pick 34. Of course, we can't guarantee. Maybe we go Lamar, then the domino effect means Matthew ends up going with Breece. But what would have been interesting is we go Lamar at 34, and then we go Breece Hall at 39, and then we're scrambling at wide receiver later. So there are 2 little worlds we could have gone. This one, definitely a lot more balanced. I'm definitely not as scared, I'll tell you that much. But we'll see. Brady says, steal my strategy from the 500 slow word together. Love to hear it, my friend. Fantasy says, Debo, wide receiver 1, unfortunately. Hey, we'll get him later. And we'll see. And, of course, Luke McCaffrey on deck. Let's queue him up. Now, of course, I'm not going to queue him up. That would just be an absolute devastating auto pick. Ajayi says, if Debo is wide receiver 1, I'll eat until I'm as fat as him. So I have been hiding this photo. I haven't wanted to bring this up on the live stream, but Debo Samuel put up a picture. I don't know if he put it up, somebody put it up. I don't know. I saw a picture. And I'm not going to lie to you. He did kind of look jacked. Okay. This is funny. Okay. I don't know if this is mean if I show this. I'm not going to show it because, okay, no. The ending was too mean. But, that was funny. I'm sorry. I can't show that on the live stream, though. I'm trying to find the Jack Debo Samuel pick. I can't. Maybe it never existed. Maybe, here it is. Was this it? Yeah. Debo Samuel looking a little jacked. Okay. Raphael says, hot dog eating contest for the flock contest. I can't do that. I can't be putting that many hot dogs in my body. See what FF Links does. Goes Jawan Jennings. Do we have the stones to take Hunter? $500 draft. Are we freaking taking Travis Hunter here? I think I will. We're going to do it. We'll take a defensive back here at pick 58. And we'll send up a prayer. Please, Travis Hunter. Convince them to put you on the offensive side of the ball more than they put Diami Brown. Please. Jordan Addison goes 59. And we have a very well-balanced start. Right now we have one quarterback. We have one running back. We have two receivers. We have a defensive back. So we have our bases covered. Okay. Joe Mixon goes pick 60. Jerry Jeudy 61. Underweight Rome. I probably like Henderson more. We already have a rookie running back. We already have a rookie receiver. Do we want to go with another rookie running back? On the way back around at pick 82, we'll be looking at a veteran running back, some decent wide receivers. We'll take Rome Odunze. We'll open the door to Caleb Williams. I'm not a big Rome guy, to be honest. We are underweight Rome at this point, but maybe we balance it out a bit. I think structurally it makes sense for our team. Again, I do like Trevion Henderson here a little bit more, but I don't know if I want to build my team around 3 rookies within the first 6 picks. Especially this tournament's not as big in week 17. It's like a 10-team final. So it's not like the only thing I'm ever thinking about. Is final 3-week upside. So maybe Rome's the advancement play. Matthew says, man, I would have killed to get Kamara on this one. Yeah, I guess if you would have got Kamara there at 60, you just get the projectable volume easily. Especially having Tat, right? And then you just have such a floor ceiling combo with St. Brown, Brian Thomas out the gate. Yeah, Kamara has been a riser. It's been tougher to get Kamara there at the end of the 5th. I think a lot of it's due to Harvey and Mixon falling. So just generally, if people are interested in a running back there in the middle of the 5th, they've been looking a little more in the direction of Kamara. And I don't know, can y'all point out, somebody in the stream, I think RM Covers told me that team at 2 is an auto draft team always. Jefferson was definitely top of ADP at pick 2. Taylor was top of ADP. I think Jacobs has a higher ADP than Harrison. I know Hampton has a higher ADP than Pickens. And I know Jameson has a higher ADP than Pickens as well. So I think that team at 2 is not auto drafting. That team at 2 is making their selections for sure. Okay. Black Suit says team 1 got host. Yeah, team 1 sets him up with the Chase Higgins double stack. Team at 5 goes Joe Burrow at pick 68. Because this is only a 10-team final in week 17, while it's still not ideal to go with an unstacked pocket passing quarterback, let's all get on the same page. It at least is not as bad as if you were to do it in like a puppy draft or best ball mania, yada, yada, yada. Like the tournament that we won the big dog with for 100K a couple years back, I'm sure we had a stacked up quarterback, but at the same time, like we had AJ Brown and Devonta Smith with no Jalen Hurts. Like you don't need to have the absolute nuts. I think we're going to go Tony Pollard with the expectations that we get a wide receiver that we like on the way back around to 87. Hate to do it to Vinny and I hate to do it to Blaze, but Vinny only had Achane at running back. Matthew only had Mixon at running back. So I think that if we would have passed on Pollard, it was almost a guarantee that we saw Pollard, Brian Robinson, and Aaron Jones all off the board by the time we were back up at pick 87. We were only sitting with Ashton Ginty. So at least getting one of these running backs here, I think puts us in a comfortable spot where we can assume that we get one of the receivers on the way back around 87. That's exactly how it plays out with Vinny grabbing his RB2 and Brian Robinson, Matthew grabbing his RB2 in Aaron Jones. Okay, and we're going to get Stephon Diggs. Diggs gives us another option here with a year 2 quarterback. So, again, we could be looking at Caleb with Rome. We could be looking at May with Diggs. More likely than not, it's only going to be, it's going to be a 2 quarterback build with us deciding to go Jaden Daniels in round 4. And so now at wide receiver, we have Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, Travis Hunter, Rome Odunze, Stephon Diggs. Running back, we have Ginty and Tony Pollard. And quarterback, we have Daniel stacked with Scary Terry. And we do have plenty of options for a second quarterback here. We could go with Stroud. We could go with Lawrence. We can go with Caleb. We can go with May. So based off the good position we're in at this point, I'm not ever really going to feel like we need to reach to get our second QB. I think we can just kind of go with whoever falls in our lap. We should have somebody. I was in a $500 slow draft on Underdog, and Brandon Ayuk fell to me at pick 100. So like Ayuk in the high stakes draft's definitely falling a little further. Matthews is not loving this at all. You do have a damn old running back room. Let's see if we can mix in some rookies so we can at least get some youth in the retirement home. Vinny says he was taking Pollard if I didn't. Yeah. I just assumed that if I didn't, maybe we would have gone like Aaron Jones in a different world there, but kind of regardless, we were going to have to take a running back. At least a running back there at 82 with the expectations to go wide receiver afterwards. SD says, how often do you draft off stream? So I've been doing slow drafts off stream. I've been doing like Eliminator, Marathon, Sprint. I've even been trying weekly winner slow drafts off stream. But those are slow drafts. In terms of fast drafts off stream, to be completely honest with you, I was doing them earlier in the off season whenever I'd be on a Stairmaster or be on the stationary bike, because life hack for anybody watching this, I promise you the best $3 you could ever spend is an Underdog draft when you need to kill 45 minutes while doing the Stairmaster or a stationary bike. It will make the time fly by. But we were doing that until I found Clash Royale. Again, Jinxie was streaming Clash, kept on showing up on my YouTube. I had deleted Clash Royale off my phone for years. I re-downloaded it, and now I'm addicted to Clash Royale yet again. So the stationary bike and Stairmaster stream, Underdog drafts that I had been doing off stream have now gotten replaced with Clash Royale. Okay. Yeah, all roads lead back to Clash, sadly. You try to abandon it, you successfully abandon it, and then it just wiggles its way back into your life. Everscam says the clan is rolling. Yeah, now we have a clan. If y'all are new here, we may or may not have a Fly Fantasy clan. It is full though, sadly. Yeah, I'm sorry it's full, but Purdy's not going to be in play for us. Just full transparency. We're sitting in a spot where we have so many options at quarterback that forcing naked Purdy just doesn't make any sense. This team is Jennings. Do they go Purdy? They do. So we're going to take Travis Etienne. Caleb Williams is going to be in play for us as well. But if we go and look at Matthew's team, he does not have any Bears. I don't even need to look at Vinny's team because Vinny has Hurts and Baker. What's interesting is Vinny has Hurts and Baker both with the week 9 buys. So I will be interested to see if he does end up possibly taking a stab at a late round QB3. And then we will probably take Caleb Williams here. Again, we do have the flexibility with this team that we could try to push quarterback. We could try to get really cute with it. And if you were of the opinion, oh my gosh, Cam Scatteraboo is the best running back discount you're ever going to get, hell, in this scenario, go take your guy and roll the dice that you get a quarterback later on. Now, I don't view any of these players on the board at running back or wide receiver as can't miss, no-brainer options that I just absolutely need to add to the team right now. So I'm going to play it safe. I'm going to get Caleb Williams. I'm going to pair him up with Rome Odunze. It sets up Loveland later for us, which y'all know I like Colson Loveland myself. So now we have Jaden Daniels stacked with Terry McLaurin. We have Caleb Williams stacked with Rome Odunze. Running back, we have Ashton Jeanty, Tony Pollard, Travis Etienne. Wide receiver, we have Nico Collins, Terry McLaurin, Travis Hunter, Rome Odunze, and Stephon Diggs. So, like the team, it's a well-balanced team. We are done drafting quarterbacks. More likely than not. Now, if I get some crazy faller, Trevor Lawrence, 20 picks past ADP, maybe I'll mix them in, okay? Maybe I will in a smaller field contest. More likely than not, I'm not taking a third QB 90% of the time. This will be the squad we're rolling with, but see, Raphael says, Mason the type of guy to turn Flock League Season 2 into Clash of Streamers, Clash Royale edition. Maybe if we can't get Colt McCoy from Underdog to do the thing for the Flock League, we end up Clash Royale tournament to determine draft order. Ooh, that sounds good. The thing is, if we did a Clash Royale tournament to determine draft order, I would, like, realistically, like, we go through player by player here. The Fantasyland guys, they're in Australia. I'm surprised they even have internet. The FSC guys, they're in Canada. Danny spends all his time playing Call of Duty. Bush probably thinks he's too cool, but I wouldn't be surprised if Bush had a flip phone. The domain guys are in Indiana. They probably spend too much time playing Legos to be on Clash. And Sal is legitimately a robot and AI. Like, serious question. Y'all think Sal has ever played a video game in his entire life? My bet on that would be no. I would bet no. So, I would clean up. It would not even be close to fair. Now let's move this back. Ray Davis goes, I'm not even going to look at quarterback because the last thing I can do is tempt myself. We can't do it. CZ says Sal spends his free time updating his firmware. Yes, Sal is AI, if y'all haven't realized. He has not played a video game. Now, maybe him being AI would make him better at video games. We'll take J.K. Dobbins. We need another running back. Fine pick. Not going to argue too much about it. And the teams behind us, H.N. Brian Robinson, Charbonnet. Vinny's definitely in play for a running back. Matthew has Mixon, Aaron Jones, Tyrone Tracy. I think we get usable weeks from J.K. Dobbins, even without an R.J. Harvey injury. And if Harvey were to go down, I think you have a pretty high ceiling from Dobbins. Okay. Okay, Javonte off 131. Matthew's the only person here at the turn that could go with a quarterback. I'm assuming he can't really go Stroud, right? Because he's in a spot where I'm the Nico Collins team. So since I'm the Nico team and we're not taking Stroud, I wouldn't be surprised at all if Stroud ends up falling a decent ways here. Matthew goes with the big Q. Vinny goes Dallas Goedert, so we are going to take Loveland as our first tight end to pair him up with Caleb. And again, I personally think Loveland outscores Marvin Mims and Hollywood Brown, so we are completely fine doing that. Okay. Matthew says the Javonte pick broke his heart. Let's move this over. Running back now, we have Jeanty, Pollard, Etienne, Dobbins. Receiver, Nico, Terry, Hunter, Rome, Diggs. Quarterback, we have Jaden Daniels, Caleb Williams. We have Daniels stacked with Terry. We have Caleb stacked with Rome. And then tight end, we have Loveland holding down the fort, obviously paired up with Caleb. So, yeah, I like the team. I think we've done a good job so far. We'll see if I find a way to ruin it. We'll see if I get on the clock and pick 154. CJ Stroud staring at me in the face, and I go, oh my gosh, I just need him. Look, we have Nico Collins. You know, I'm very quick to make a great draft a bad draft. We can do it quickly. Adam says, where would Mims be going without the week 17 fourth quarter against the Bengals? Let's pull this up here, my friend. Okay. Because this is a fun thing to look at. Again, we've been saying that Mims is one of the worst players on the board for quite some time. And Mims has fallen a ton. Like Mims, his price now is a lot better than it was when drafts first opened. If you want to look at Marvin Mims over the past 2 seasons, this is his entire NFL career averaged out. The dude has averaged 33% of the snaps, and he has averaged 12 routes a game. Now, wait. It gets better. Because maybe you say, Mason, it's not fair to use his rookie season stats in here. That's not fair at all. You need to take those out. Okay, I'll take those out for you. Let's just look at 2024. Oh, he played less in year 2 than he did in year 1. He only played 27% of the snaps. He only ran 10 routes per game. What the hell? What were people doing drafting this dude at like the 10-11 turn? So I agree. If Marvin Mims did not have that one quarter, or he did not have that one game against the Bengals, Marvin Mims would probably be going in round 17. This dude's making $1 million per route. Yes, the yards per route run's great. We look at the yards per route run. 2.7 yards per route run this past season is insane. But how many times do y'all need to learn your lesson? Remember a couple years back when we called Kadarius Toney the worst pick on the board? There was a point where Kadarius Toney was going ahead of Mike Evans in drafts. You're going to act like this never happened. It did. We called him the worst pick on the board, and people screamed at me that we were stupid because of his efficiency and yada, yada, yada. Okay. Let's see what this FF Links team does. He only has Purdy, but yeah, he goes Tillman. I'm not going to fault him at all for that. Jaden Blue used to be one of the worst picks on the board. I think he's a lot better now, but I think we can actually go Eckler instead. We're going to go Austin Eckler instead of Jaden Blue. I actually think that Eckler does positively correlate with Jaden Daniels. Just almost all of his value comes as a receiver. Like typically you're not wanting to go out of your way to pair up your running back with your quarterback. I think Eckler is one of the unique cases where it's not the worst thing in the world. And because this is a smaller field contest, I actually wouldn't feel horrible about drafting a 6th running back on this team. Best Ball Mania, you draft this running back room, you're done. I think we go Kyle Pitts here at tight end. Let me just think about it. Yeah, we're going to take Pitts. I'd probably rather have Pitts over Strange. Even though Pitts is, at least he's been booty over the past 2 years, and he's probably going to continue to be booty, but it's like the same age as RJ Harvey. Let's move this down. And Frank, Underdog is half PPR. Matthew says he's thrilled with that turnaround finally. Algier and Bryce Young, yeah. The Young pick kind of needed there to pair up with Tet. I was interested to see if that team right before me was going to go with the quarterback with only Purdy, but they waited to get Geno at 160. Do they have Geno paired with anybody or no? No, they don't. I guess with Geno, you can go Thornton later. SE says he's the finest booty in that range. Yes, it is true. I believe Kyle Pitts is the finest booty in this range. And again, another player that we called the worst pick on the board earlier, or the worst pick on the board at running back earlier this offseason was Jaden Blue. Since then, Dobbins signed with Denver. Chubb signed with Houston, and Jaden Blue's fallen like 3 to 4 rounds in drafts just based off of Miles Sanders' blurb. So where Jaden Blue used to go, horrible selection. But now I think Jaden Blue is honestly maybe a good pick with where he goes, to be honest. Him going next to Braylon Allen and Tank Bigsby is a completely fine selection. Yeah, Blue is much, much better at this price. Like, I'm never going to say anything bad about somebody taking Jaden Blue here at 162. Let's move this over. Demario Douglas goes 168. And let's just look at what we have at wide receiver. Can I get away with taking a 6 running back? We have Nico's wide receiver 1, Terry wide receiver 2, Travis Hunter wide receiver 3, Rome wide receiver 4, Stephon Diggs wide receiver 5. So we know we need one more pick as a tight end. And then we have 3 left. Yeah. If Diggs is our wide receiver 5 and Nico's our wide receiver 1, I think we can go tight ends, wide receiver, running back. Something like that. Like, I think we actually have it in play where we can take another running back on this team. If it was Best Ball Mania, I probably won it. But with this being a smaller field contest, I think I'll opt to go with 7 receivers. Darnold off 175. And it's going to be an interesting little selection here we make. Darius Slayton off. Alec Pierce goes. Alec Pierce was going to be my pick because I didn't expect. Real quick, let me know in the chat. Is there a reason we should not take Jalen Wright? Other than our roster construction, which I know a lot of smart people would say we shouldn't take a running back here. But is there a reason he's fallen 16 picks past ADP? Okay, and for whatever reason, I don't know if y'all see this on my screen, but Underdog saying we can't update crap, so Demonic Celery says, nope, take him. Okay. We'll take him, and now we are obviously for sure done at running back. And full transparency, most smart people are going to say we should not take the 6th running back here. I would 100% agree with them if it was a larger field contest with a massive Week 17 final. This is a 10-team Week 17 final, much smaller Week 15 and Week 16 pods as well, where I think we can get away with a slimmer wide receiver room and go with the extra running back. And then whatever tight end we take, we probably don't want to tight end with the Week 5 bye. Matthew goes Richardson and Brashad Smith. Brashad Smith did have the positive blurb out of Chiefs camp. Oh my gosh, Dimey Brown was our pick here. I'm not taking Jalen Knoll. Could maybe go Mason Taylor. The passing volume just going to be so bad there. We'll panic pick Hopkins. Hopkins pick feels horrible in that the only reason he ever goes here is he goes to the Lamar team. We need a receiver. I don't want to take Jalen Knoll on this team. Again, smaller playoff tournament structure. So we are mainly just looking at what's a player that can get in and elevate our team weeks 1, 2, 3. Like, we have Diggs, who may start slow given the torn ACL. We have Travis Hunter as a rookie. So I kind of want an older veteran receiver that's going to be able to help us in the short term. So we go Hopkins. I was really wanting Dimey Brown, but Vinny sniped us from him. So we'll go in that direction. Let's move this down so we don't have to keep seeing that. I was thinking of going with the tight end, but in reality, like the round 18 tight ends are going to be the same as what we are looking at there in round 16, in my opinion. So like tight end wasn't that clear. But overall, it's really the only pick that I don't feel great about in this draft. And it's in round 16. And like looking at the board, like with the players that go after, it's not like I'm sitting here kicking myself going, oh my gosh, I should have taken Tutu Atwell. What was I thinking? Oh, Calvin Austin was clearly the... It's like, whatever. I'm sure everybody here has their own guy that they would have preferred, but my guy was, I was hoping to get Alec Pierce at 178. Took him away right before our pick. Was hoping to get Damir Brown 183. Took him away immediately. Bean says, Ben Sennett. I'm not going to go Ben Sennett. I don't think we have to try to get that unique here. I don't think we have to reach for the Daniels correlation. We already have Terry. Ewing says Hopkins will likely catch a ball sometimes. That's what I was thinking there. Nick Chubb goes. Christian says Keenan isn't signing with the Commanders. I think Keenan would have been a great play for the Commanders if it hadn't been Debo getting dealt there. Jalen Noel's still falling. I mean, maybe there's a point if Jalen Noel makes us pick 202, we take him. But we're going to take one more receiver, one more tight end. I'm not reaching on any weird Commanders picks to let y'all know. Like, that does not need to be done here in a smaller field, high stakes tournament. Dylan Sampson, Keenan Allen. Keenan was probably going to be the play. And again, I feel good about us not taking a tight end in the last round just because all these tight ends are going to be about the same here. Our tight ends, we have Loveland and Kyle Pitts. So in reality, what we probably don't want from a third tight end is we probably would prefer not taking a rookie, and we'd probably prefer not taking a player with a week 5 bye. Freiermuth goes 199. Russ goes, do we end up with freaking Jalen Noel here? Pair him up with Nico and go, what if Jaden Higgins isn't it? What if Christian Kirk is dust? But we have Hunter presumably not given a ton of production early on. We have Diggs probably not given a ton of production early on. So I agree. I think Mason Taylor is probably the best tight end on the board, and maybe I'm overthinking this, but given the lack of production that we should have early in the season, I'm thinking we probably just make a boring selection here of Dalton Schultz. I feel like we have plenty of upside in the second half of the year with Loveland paired up with Caleb. That I just kind of want somebody that's going to give us some type of floor early on so we can just survive at tight ends. I'm not taking Naylor. I'm sorry. I'm not doing that. Dylan says it's the most viewers you had this. Is this the most viewers you had this offseason? I have no idea how many people are watching this right now, my friend. If you are watching this, hit that like button. I would appreciate it. Christian Watson goes 204. Matthew, you got to explain yourself. You got to explain yourself with this. If y'all don't know, Matthew's been a long time member of the flock. Super sharp dude. Killer at Dynasty. But what the hell are we doing with this Christian Watson pick? Dart goes. Oh, dear God, Mason. Lock in. Do I bend the knee and do I take Jalen Naylor or do I just take Jalen Noel? Do I go with Adonai Mitchell? Nico, Terry are really going to be effective at all. I think we need somebody who can get on the field early. I don't think Jalen Noel gets on the field early. Christian Kirk's going to play ahead of him. So we'll go Adonai Mitchell here at 207. I think if we weren't built around some of these other receivers like Diggs and Hunter that probably aren't super productive early, Noel could have been the play to pair him up with Nico, but no, we're not going to in this draft. But anyway, here's the squad, ladies and gentlemen. We are pick 10. Running back, Ginty, Pollard, Etienne, Dobbins, Eckler, Jalen Wright. Probably a little overboard. Tight end, we have Loveland, Kyle Pitts, Dalton Schultz. Wide receiver, Nico, Terry, Travis Hunter, Roma Dunze, Stephon Diggs, DeAndre Hopkins, Adonai Mitchell. That's definitely our weakest spot. Quarterback, we have Jaden Daniels stacked with Terry and Eckler. We have Caleb stacked with Rome and Loveland. But Connor says, why would Diggs not be productive early? He tore an ACL last year, my friend. But I appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Hopefully I didn't let y'all down. Hopefully I didn't let the bankroll down with that $500 draft. I think we did fine. It felt a little shaky at the end, but felt great at the beginning. Early round picks, honestly, matter a little bit more if we're just looking for those guys that can straight up win leagues. But I do appreciate y'all hanging out with me. Of course, I'll be live streaming tomorrow night, the night after, the night after, the night after, the night after, the night after that, the night after that. I'm even taking the streaming setup to Tampa. So when we're visiting the fam, I can stream for y'all there as well. So if you haven't already, subscribe to the channel. I'd really appreciate it. But I really appreciate you spending your Sunday night with me anyway. And I really hope that you have a great night and a really